is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. This is Jay Moore, your healthy accountant. And today, here's what we're talking about: how to turn your life around, how to turn your business around even. And so today, we're going to look at three things that I've discovered along my journey that could help anyone turn their life around and literally, build faith and build you back up so that you can become the person you were created to be. So let's jump right into this. Man, I'm super excited. And so I was thinking, and listen, turning your life around is interesting. I was reading a book. Actually started reading on Saturday, and I was just kind of perusing through it this morning. And as I was reading, something hit me. Our life is a culmination of something. What is your life a culmination of? I want you to think about that. What is your life a culmination of? And like, if that's kind of a big word, but what does your life consist of? Our life consists of stories, many stories. Like, I've got this T-shirt on. This is the high school that I went to, Pine Forge Academy, and Pine Forge Academy. This school. Literally, if I just think about the 4 years, the impact that happened to me from 86 to 1989. And I'm thinking about it like, oh my goodness, had a 30-year anniversary. But here's the thing, our story doesn't end with one thing. Your story is many things. Now, turning our life around, think about this. First, we got to discover some things about our life that I don't like what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing. Think about your business. Hopefully you have one. If you got a business, well, if you don't have one, you got to get one. And at the end of the day, you need a business just so that you can, participate in part of the wealthy process, which is taxes. So that's a whole nother story. We're not gonna get into that, but you should have a business. So if you had a business and say you were like me, like 20 years then, I was just talking to my wife last weekend. It's like 20 years. 2002 was when it started. I wish I had this framework back then because I could have implemented it. I could not implement it because I had to live it first. So a lot of times, guys, when you go through things, it could become a framework. It could become a book. This framework is in a book that I've written, Next Level Faith. And so, but it wasn't because, no, not Next Level Faith. It's not in that book. It's in a book that hasn't come out yet. But here's the thing. It's not because I didn't want to be successful. I wanted to be successful. That was my idea to be successful. That's your idea to be successful. Ask yourself this question: what does it take to become successful in business? What does it take? And it's going to take a key word. Look, turning your life around. One of the first things you got to think about is where am I at? Where have I been? That's a conversation that you got to have with yourself. That's called, I got to look in the mirror. Guys, I wanted to turn my life around. And I didn't want to turn my life around when I started my business. I wanted to turn my life around after I'd been in business for a long time and I saw all the mistakes. Just like a lot of times we make a lot of mistakes. We don't want to make them, but we got to make them typically. But then you make all these mistakes and then you're like, well, I need to change those mistakes. So I got to look in the mirror. Who's the problem? Who's the problem? Look, it's not my wife. It's not my kids. It's not my church. It's not the government. It's not my clients. I'm the problem. Guys, when you're a business owner, the business owner becomes the problem that's stopping the business to get to where it needs to go. It's not the fact that you don't have a service that you can offer. Look, any service would work. I'm gonna say it again. Any service would work. It doesn't matter what you sell, doesn't matter the product or the service, everything works. What do I mean by that? You mean people buy pretty much people buy whatever you would sell them. Whatever it is that you could show them that would add value to their life, they would potentially buy it. So everything works, but does the business owner work? I'm doing this challenge this week, the Good Accounting Challenge. And part of what today, the underlying premise in part of today's session is the business owner and how the business owner needs to change. The business owner needs to change and understand what the business owner does in the business. And most business owners, most people who were like me, they start a business. And you don't realize some of the things that you actually have to do as the business owner. You got to set the stage for everything. But we get started. I was an accountant. I wanted to be, let me just do all the accounting stuff. Let me just be an accountant. An accountant is a wage earner. An accountant is a person who sits behind the desk, who gets orders. And sometimes you may give them. But most accountants, they're sitting behind the desk. They're just hoping, wishing, and praying, magically they're going to start making more money. Or worse yet, they actually believe that if they work the 30 and 40 years, that they will be financially free at the end. Accountants, right? So here it is, you have a mindset like this, but that's not a business. So if you're going to turn your life around, if you're going to turn your business around, you're going to look in the mirror, you're going to have to ask yourself some key questions. Hey, what the heck are you doing? What have you done? And if you don't like what you're doing, why are you doing that? You could have this conversation with yourself. You don't. No one else has to be in this conversation unless you was working with a bunch of people. Then they get to talk to you and tell you what they saw. But you can even go to your friends. You can even go to your family. Hey, how do you see me as a business owner? They'll tell you. It might hurt. It might hurt. I remember one time I asked my wife something, and she busted my chops up pretty good. And I was just like, ouch. I was like, man, this was when I didn't understand what I was doing. And I would be going from here to 1 week I was doing this. The next week I was doing that. The next week I was doing this. And she says, Jay, come on, you gotta pick. You're going back and forth. That's the mirror talking to you. And then you got to decide that you're going to actually shift. You're going to 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 shift. You're just going to say, boop. Instead of being instead of being the person I used to be, I'm going to be the person I can be, which is the business owner, or which is the person, whoever that person is. See, the shift is everything. There's a lot of books on shifting, and becoming. I mean, come on, guys. There's tons of resources out here for us to. Hey, good morning, PB. How are you? There's tons of resources available to us right now. We're living in the greatest time in history. This is the best time to be living. But for some, this is the worst time to be living, because they're being overwhelmed by all the information. But because I'm still with you. Like I'm not so far away. I just get to come and talk to you about where I'm at. So we have to shift, and then we have to say to ourselves, okay, what's the best thing I can do as a business owner? I'm going to give you this last thing. Here's the best thing you can do as a business owner. Give. That's the best thing you can do. If you give more, the receiving part is going to be so easy. There's what we call the golden rule. You heard of the golden rule? What's the golden rule? Like, the person that's giving will always be in the receiving end of things, because when we give but you have to do this. You have to give with the intention of not getting anything back. You have to give with the intention of not getting anything back. This is something that I found to be hard in the very beginning, because I wanted to receive. Who doesn't want to receive? Who doesn't want to make money? Who doesn't want to have stuff? But you got to be willing to give, and you have to be willing to give. And think I was telling the story. I said, man, I remember when I first started to shift, really make a major shift. This was in 2016 and I was being coached. And so I think I was on like 40 sales calls straight and I didn't make a sale. I'm going to tell you, that was hard. But my coach was just like, hey, man, you have to go on the call ready to give. Like, stop worrying about what you're going to receive. And I used to be worrying about, man, am I going to make the sale? Am I going to make some money? I need some money. Things are rough. But he said, you got to go into the call ready to give, ready to help, ready to help people to explore themselves. See, because at the end of that, I can't necessarily give all the answers, but you can sure ask all the questions. The one who asks all the questions, the one who controls the questions is the one who has the authority. But that's giving. Guys, you want to turn your life around, right? Look in the mirror. Change your mind. Look in the mirror, right? Decide that you're going to make a shift. Decide that it's the shift or bust. And then also, last thing you want to do is you want to just be in the mindset of giving all the time. The person that shows up ready to give, ready to help, ready to demonstrate authority over something. You got to demonstrate your authority in the realm that you're working in. You demonstrate that authority, guys, your life, your belief, your faith will go to the next level. Look, I can guarantee you. How can I guarantee you? This is a framework that I discovered after doing it, after living it, which is the only reason why I can do a podcast every single day. I could not do a podcast until I was in this mindset because it was hard. It'll be hard to show up every day, new topic, something else. But here's the thing. Lastly, before I let you go, the reason why anyone can do this is when you discover what's so unique about yourself. It's got to be you got to discover. When you discover what's so unique about yourself, then what will happen is you say, well, oh shoot, I can apply that to everything. I can apply that to my field. I can apply that to me as a husband. I can apply that to me as a father. I can apply that to me as a friend. I can apply that to me being a son, or I can apply that to everything, leadership, whatever it is. I can apply everything that I am into all those different realms without having to compare myself to other people. So guys, when you can account, guys, this whole accounting thing is huge. When you can account for these things, when you can account for yourself, what's going to happen? Look, your life will turn around. Your business will turn around. Your marriage will turn around. Everything will change because you change. That's it, guys. Turn your life around. Look in the mirror, right? Make the decision to shift. And lastly, be the giver. Be the one who gives, even though sometimes it's going to hurt. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Life podcast. Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for life. Don't forget, join the goodaccountingchallenge.com at Good Accounting Challenge. I'm sorry, go to Good Accounting Challenge and at goodaccountingchallenge.com. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.